So even the flirting, even if it's reciprocal here, didn't work.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers, board certified criminal defense lawyers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Today we're reacting to when suspects try to seduce cops. It's brought to you by contractscounsel.com. Contractscounsel.com. If you're a client or a lawyer, go to contractscounsel.com. You got a pressing business interest, you get a contract written, that's the place to go. Contractscounsel.com. They have a lot of clients, but not enough lawyers. So if you're a lawyer out there, and I know you guys are I have a lot of lawyer friends. So if you're a lawyer, go to contractscounsel.com. You can get a side gig and do it from home, and it's not that big a deal. Or could be a big deal to you. And if you help somebody out, write a nice contract for them, it can be a big deal to them. So, all right, I haven't seen this, and this is just an idea brought to us by our content genius, my son, and your favorite person on the planet, Michael Rivers. So let's get into this. Oh, and by the way, when you get pulled over, generally speaking, it's a real gamble to try to seduce a cop. When the last time I did it, I was put in cuffs. This was originally posted by Dr. Insanity, so check him out. He's got some good content out there.
Police can often use many violent methods to try and escape. But what happens when suspects try to seduce and flirt with cops to avoid sentences?
So let me just tell you something about not just trying to seduce a cop. How about when you're a cop and you try to get special favors in order for leniency? I've seen that a ton. And those guys usually wind up getting their job handed to them in a bucket.
Here are 4 examples of when this very situation was caught on camera. Starting with 48-year-old Kelly Barton.
All right, starting with 48-year-old Kelly Barton. Okay.
Who drove into a lamppost while transporting a special needs patient for work. However, when police arrived, she was looking a little worse for wear.
Kelly?
Yes?
How are you doing?
Good.
Kelly admits that she had too much to drink that evening, but doesn't admit to driving, despite it being her job. Unfortunately for her, though, security camera footage from the gas station proves that she was, in fact, behind the wheel. And
little note about gas stations. Don't ever try to do a deal at a gas station if it's illegal, because they have really great cameras, and they'll catch your license plate and a lot of other things.
Is now facing charges of both DUI and neglect due to the responsibility she carried while driving with the patient.
What are you doing driving a patient and drinking? I mean, honestly, when you have a DUI, anybody can get a DUI, all right? Anybody can get one. I've never had one, but I've been pulled over plenty of times for, whatever, and they think you've been drinking, and, a couple glasses of wine over a 4-hour period isn't going to do it, but you still get tested. And anybody can do it, but when you're on the fucking job, when you're on the job, and you're in charge of a special needs patient, probably should lay off the sauce. I remember way back in the day when I was in college, I drove an ambulance. I was an EMT, and I drove, all kinds of different types of patients. Never in a million years would I think to have a bump before or during my shift.
But as an ambulance pulls up to perform some tests on her, Kelly reveals that she has another trick up her sleeve and begins repeatedly flirting with all of the officers at the scene.
Look at you, handsome. You want to like...
If you're gonna seduce a cop, you gotta have some skills. You just have to have skills.
Private check you, ma'am? Let them do what they gotta do. Come on, boys. How you feeling? How you feeling? Hey. I want the little young boys. Ask me how I'm feeling. Let the little young boys tell me. Boy. Let me tell you something. What I would do to you with your blue eyes. Well, let me check your blood sugar real quick.
Okay. Well, can we just go in the back and so where the cameras aren't, so you can do what you're gonna do to my blue eyes? Give me a break.
Look at him.
Okay, great. And when people are drinking like this, they never have good judgment.
I would do him in a way that he won't admit. Hey, look, he can look tough all he wants, right? Don't let me get him.
After multiple tests, it's clear to the officers that Kelly
she's resistible.
was way over the legal limits and is arrested for driving while intoxicated. And after struggling to get her into the police vehicle, she's sent on her way to the police station. But if you think Kelly was bold for talking to cops like that, 18-year-old Skyler Fluss is on a completely different level, going so far as to post this video to thousands of people bragging about how she got away with the DUI.
I got out of a DUI and got let off with a warning.
Skyler was pulled over after an officer saw her weaving around the road in a way that suggested she might not have been completely sober. But according to her video, she claims that using her flirtatious and quick wit, she managed to trick the officer and get away with a warning.
I blew a 3.8 and he let me off.
Okay, she did not blow a 3.8. There's no fucking way. She'd be dead. So when you know what the readings for alcohol means? So if she blew a 3.8, what that would mean is that 3.8% of her blood is actually alcohol. Not going to happen. And the legal limit is 0.08. So that would be what? You could do the math. I mean, 0.08, you're probably pretty tipsy if you're just a regular drinker. 0.16, yeah, you're starting to get pretty fucked up. 0.24, so like 3 times the legal limit, you're messed up. She was not 3.8. And if she meant that she was 0.38, she really wouldn't be functioning at all. If she was 0.038, well, then she's well under the legal limit, and she didn't have to do anything to get out of the DUI anyway. But she's not of legal drinking age. So let's just listen to more. This is a self-snitching video, as you can see.
With a warning. And gave me his number and said we should meet for coffee or lunch. He was hot, so I'm getting lunch with him tomorrow.
If her story is true, then the officer would be in serious trouble. But luckily, the officer in question recorded the entire interaction on his body cam, and the video tells a completely different story.
Hello. My name's Deputy Stallman, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. I pulled you over because you were weaving a little bit back there. Where are you coming from?
I was coming from my friend's house. I actually just got dumped.
Okay.
So I was like crying and like I'm really
okay.
sorry.
Were you on your phone and stuff too?
I was trying to call him to get a hold of him because my heart hurts.
Okay.
So
And the Academy Award for Best Lying Actress.
Well, I'm just concerned that you were weaving because of alcohol, but if you're on your phone, have you been drinking or anything tonight? No? Okay.
The deputy then does give Skyler a card with the sheriff department's information on it, but it didn't include his personal number, and it didn't come with an invitation to dinner.
Sounds like you're having a rough night, so I'm not going to add to that by writing you a ticket or anything, okay? So I'm just going to give you a warning. It's not a big deal. I just want...
Okay, so why would she post that video? Because she's lying. She's a lying. And this is the kind of woman, guys, that you would not want a manipulative liar.
Okay, you were weaving a little bit, and I just want to make sure you're okay to operate the motor vehicle, and I believe you are. So my information's right here on the front. The reason I stopped you here is on the back. Wherever you're headed, get there safely, and I'm sorry you're having a bad night.
yeah, I'm just
So he obviously doesn't smell alcohol. And there's no way she's 3.8. And she doesn't know what she's talking about. But if she's 0.038, there would be light or moderate scent of alcohol on her breath.
Okay. No, you're fine. Yeah, no, you don't need to apologize. I mean, you were weaving a little bit with no traffic out. I just want to make sure you're okay, that's all.
Skyler's video doesn't just contain disgusting footage of her laughing and bragging about exploiting this officer's kindness, but also states that she blew a 3.8 on the breathalyzer, ignoring that she wasn't even tested in the first place.
Don't you love people like this? No, you don't.
The legal limit is only around 0.8 and already makes driving dangerous, but a reading of 3.8 would imply Skyler was not only blackout drunk, but close to death, as at a level of 4.0, respiratory failure is likely. But this doesn't mean Skyler was lying about being drunk underage. Videos were later discovered of her chugging tequila from the bottle and acting drunk at a party just hours before she was caught driving. After she was confronted with this, Skyler confessed and admitted to everything.
I ended up getting a little too intoxicated. I was taking shots all night and...
Why would you... Number one, why would you just got out of something that you almost could have gotten really hammered on, pardon the pun. And number two, so you post it on social media, and then you go on the fucking news? dude, be smarter than that. You guys learn from these mistakes. And it's so misplaced because what does she want more than anything else? Attention. So I guess in a sense she's winning because people are talking about her, but not the kind of attention you want.
I decided to make the dumb decision to get into my car and drive.
She also admitted that the officer never asked her out. That was just a lie for social media attention. Regardless of her confession, though, no further action was taken against her or the officer who failed to test her. But the same can't be said for Lydia Badillo. She was caught trying to transport 2 illegal immigrants over the Mexican border, and as soon as everything started to fall apart, she decided to try seducing the officer.
Just wait for me right here, okay? You don't have anything?
I'm looking at your eyes. Sorry, sir.
What?
I'm looking at your eyes.
Why?
Because you look pretty handsome.
As soon as the officer realizes something might be up with the IDs, Lydia starts to smile and stare directly at his eyes before telling him how handsome he is.
You know, I think this works in maybe very, very, very few situations. It doesn't work when you're in a serious felony type coyote situation, for sure.
Obviously, this is just a trick to try and get out of the position she's put herself in. A trick that isn't going to work on this officer.
Estos documentos por un tiempo? Por un año. Ok. Pues son falsos, ok. Y tener documentos en estados de Texas es un delito. Las ID, a esta te sale a un señor, a tuya. A esta no me sale nada. Ok, so estas identificaciones son falsas. Okay.
After running the woman's driver's licenses through the national database, the officer discovers that the ID numbers return completely wrong results, meaning that both of them are totally fake. It's later discovered that the 2 women with Lydia in the car are both illegal immigrants from El Salvador. What's worse is that they were being transported through a service that often forces women into debt bondage, where the people who transported them will make them pay off their debt through forced labor and sex work. So
when you see this kind of thing, I can't imagine that the flirtatious and the offer for sex would somehow get you out of sex trafficking, unless you got a really desperate officer trying to arrest you. But who's going to, 99 times out of 100, an officer is not going to want to risk his career for, about 2 minutes. Not saying it doesn't happen, because you've seen from one of our other videos that, officers can do really stupid things. But when you got, and then that debt bondage is something that ties these women to their captors or to their coyotes or, to the traffickers for quite a long period of time. And sometimes they string out the debt so it never gets paid.
So, while Lydia was arrested and the 2 women sent back over the border, they may have been saved from years of horrible treatment and abuse. One thing's for sure though, Lydia's attempt at flirting didn't work one bit. Unlike Brooke Teague's attempt, which actually worked out well. So well, it's rumored that her and the cop are still together to this day. Brooke was pulled over after an officer witnessed her swerving around the road slightly, a telltale sign that the driver was either intoxicated or in need of help. So he swiftly pulled her over, only to be greeted in a surprising way.
Hey, I'm Officer Smith, Bentonville Police Department.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Smith.
I've never heard that before in traffic stop. I appreciate that. Hey, so I'm just stopping you for improper lane use.
Sorry, I was on the phone.
You're on the phone?
I'll be honest.
Okay. Who are you on the phone with?
My baby daddy. I'll show it to you, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zachary?
Yeah.
How much do you have to drink tonight?
Only one drink.
Just one drink?
Yep. Yes,
Final
sir.
answer?
Miller.
A Miller Lite?
Yes. I won't lie to you, a Miller Lite.
That's all you've had?
Yes, sir. You can ask Zachary.
I don't really want to talk to Zachary.
I know you don't, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
In just
if you're out and about and you're going to be drinking, you're better off just not even getting behind the wheel. But if you're really cute and you're behind the wheel and you've got it going on, well, maybe you flirt with the officer and you become his thing later, or not. It's highly illegal for the officer to engage in this.
Minute of conversation, 2 things become clear immediately. Brooke has definitely had more than 1 beer to drink, and how well she and the officer seem to be getting along already. Both points that will get increasingly more obvious as the footage continues.
Yeah, I can smell it from across the car.
She's like, I had 1 Miller Lite. There's no, I wanted to say, like, a Miller did that to you?
Big Miller, 128-ounce Miller.
Freaking bucket of Miller. All right, where we at on it? Awesome. Brooke?
Yes.
Teague. Am I saying that right? Teague?
Yes. Like baseball league.
Teague like baseball league.
Yep. It helps people spell it because they never spell it correctly.
Brooke then gets taken out for some sobriety tests, which take much longer than anticipated.
You're making me giggle. I'm sorry.
He makes me giggle too. It's okay.
Okay. I snore. I'm from
Sorry.
Huntsville.
We're supposed to be professional.
I'm from Huntsville. Isn't going to make me.
He's clearly smitten, which is getting his way with his kitten.
Snort.
All right, stop laughing because you're making me laugh.
I'm not.
Right? Seriously.
I'm giggling. I'm
All right,
sorry.
this is a serious deal. All right. Okay.
You're smiling. I can't help it.
All right. Stop.
The amount of flirting that's going on here is just gross.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, despite all the jokes, Brooke failed all the sobriety tests and was put under arrest.
How much you've actually had a drink?
I've had 2 Millers.
2 Millers now? That's it?
It's always 2 beers. I had 2 beers, and usually 2 means 4 to 6.
Yes, sir. You can call Mitchell, the manager.
Okay. Well, hey, go ahead and put your hands on your back for me, okay?
Yeah.
After a search of her car, which turned up nothing but a loose car seat, she was driven back to the police station where the sparks continued to fly.
I'm with you. Let's go over here.
Oh my God, is there a dog?
There is a dog.
Where?
He's over there. Over here. His name is Kolyak.
Kolyak?
That's my dog.
Is that your dog? What's his name?
His name is Coach.
Coach? I have 3 dogs. I have a Rottweiler, Great Dane, and a Mastiff.
Wow.
So even the flirting, even if it's reciprocal here, it didn't work.
Did I go to high school with you?
I think so. Where'd you go to high school at?
Bentonville?
Yeah, not me.
Where'd you go?
Indiana. Valparaiso, Indiana.
Where in Indiana?
Valparaiso.
I was raised from Bluefield.
Really?
Yeah.
Note that despite the obvious chemistry, both Brooke and the officer have remained professional and are continuing to move on with the investigation. The officer had Brooke take a blood alcohol test where she blew 0.14%, almost
0.14. So you're almost double the legal limit. But you can, and it all depends upon how you ingest alcohol, what your tolerance is, and so she's pretty high functioning for 0.14.
Twice the legal limit. Brooke still spent the night in jail to sober up and had her license suspended temporarily. But this interaction shows how respect and professionalism can make an investigation much, much easier. It's just unfortunate that this cop didn't meet Brooke at a bar. Maybe things would have ended with a night at his place instead of the jail.
You see all these videos about getting stopped by cops, whether you should answer questions, whether you should roll down your window, and now whether you should try to seduce an officer, which if you're a guy, it's probably not going to work. And if you're a girl, it's a very rare chance that it would work. And even if you try to do it, everything's on body cam nowadays. And so they're under the gun, pardon the pun, but everything's recorded. So it's almost impossible to get away with anything like that these days. So just be straight up. Don't answer questions. Give them your license and just sit there and be quiet. And if you're going to do a field sobriety test, if you're hammered, you don't have to do the field sobriety test, generally speaking, in most states. But that means they're going to arrest you and do a test back at the station. And you don't have the right to refuse at the station. You do have a right to refuse to seduce the cop, and I would suggest that all of you refuse to do that. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer with our content genius, Michael Rivers. So proud to call him my son. Make sure you go to contractscounsel.com. It's down below. If you're a lawyer, they need a lot of lawyers. They got plenty of clients, but they need lawyers. Helping write contracts from home, it's a great way to have a little side hustle from home. Bruce Rivers, Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away.
23-hour lockdown, police is at my god.